Assalamu alaikum everyone, Huzafa here from BITFX, and in this video I'll be looking through the weekly outlook for 3rd October and going through the four major pairs: Eurusd, Gbpusd, Nzdusd and Usdcad. So starting on the monthly time frame for Eurusd, as we can see, the Eurusd is at extreme lows right now. So what I'm expecting is a little bit of pullback towards these zones, and for the long run it's bearish. All right, so euro usd in the long run is bearish. I will be expecting pullback to these zones and then dropping further. So that's on the monthly time frame for euro usd. Right, let's go on to the weekly time frame. And again, on the weekly time frame, my poi or my targets for euro usd would be around this area. So now you can see we are seeing like a good pullback towards the upside to euro for the euro usd. So my target is gonna be around this zone, and I'll be expecting market to come to this zone if market decides to break these highs. So if these highs on the weekly time frame are broken, we could see a nice trend reversal on Euro USD and Euro USD continuing bullish. As you know, this area is a strong zone for Euro USD, as is around the $1 mark. So we should see. It's a very important area. If Euro USD breaks this, we should see some bullish momentum in Euro USD. If it doesn't, we'll look to sell from this zone. So again, on the lower time frame, we'll look for lower time frame confirmations according to the BITFX rules and look to sell from here. If we don't get any confirmations and we broke above these highs, then most probably this zone, whatever the low will be turned into our POI to look for buys. All right. Moving on to the daily time frame, same POI, same targets on the daily time frame, and let's move on to 4 hours. And yeah, 4 hours again, nothing special. We are 4 hour internally bullish, which is again good, as we are targeting these areas and be expecting to buy. So most probably what could happen is maybe a pullback down to this zone and then continue up, or maybe break above this zone, come back down into this area, and then go back up into these zones. So potential future POI would be turned into this. So yeah, these are all the possibilities. Maybe if we go a bit lower and check on 1 hour, a slight possibility, which is a very risky one, which could be this zone right here on 1 hour time frame. All right, so we have this break of structure on 1 hour. So maybe for a short term trade, this zone could work out for the sells on the hourly time frame. But again, very risky one, as you know. We are targeting the high areas on the higher time frames. All right, so yeah. All right, so moving on to GBPUSD. Again, we are at the extreme lows, and we are looking for a pullback towards the upside, as you know we discussed in the previous week's outlook. And again, the zone which on the higher time frame, which I'll be looking to trade at, is around this area. All right, so this area I'm expecting the pullback to come all the way till here, and then rejections from those zones. Let's move on to the lower time frame, weekly time frame. We can see that we are experiencing a nice pullback towards the upside. Now on weekly time frames, I don't really see a strong area. Again, this being one of our zones, so I'm gonna extend actually this a bit so it covers the imbalance. So this POI is our major POI, and then a smaller target would be this zone right here. All right, let's move on to the daily time frame. And again, this high right here is an important high for GBPUSD. All right, so we'll be experiencing some sort of a reaction from this zone, most probably. Maybe a tiny bit. Maybe this could be the area from which your GBPUSD continues all the way down, and there's a high chance the market will just give you a small reaction. So make sure you take your profits or partials early if this decides to play out, and then possibly market continue a bit higher up and then just drop down from there. All right, so yeah, these are the two POIs on weekly monthly and hourly. Let's check the 4 hours, and again, uh, nothing too special on the 4 hours. We see the 1 hour time frame, and same thing as we discussed on Euro USD. A very risky zone would be this to sell. That if we see 5 minute time frame confirmation, a short term sell to come and cover this imbalance right here in the market could take place. So it's a possibility which we could look for, but still very risky as we are in that lower time frame bullish momentum continuing towards that higher time frame POI to then look for sells. All right, so these are the all possibilities for GBPUSD. So I am expecting the next week to be bullish in some sense, you can say, towards these targets. So I'll be looking for buys this coming week potentially, and yeah, adjusting according to how the market moves and adapting according to that. All right, so moving on to NZD something interesting which we see is again this month extremely bearish, and as we discussed in the previous week, this zone can be expected as a liquidity zone, right? So market people are actually waiting with their buys, and some most of the people are in the buys from this zone, holding or hoping for long term swings, and their stop losses are below this wick right here. To some extent we might be able to see a reaction. So again, last week I gave you guys this POI to look for some potential buys, short term buys, and we could see some sort of reaction but not a long term one. Most probably what's going to happen is if NZD is supposed to go up, we will see this liquidity grab from this wick. So this wick gets taken out, and then we see some sort of trend reversal in this zone and then continue back up, and hoping to fill up this imbalance in the future. All right, which would be quite well, and awesome long-term position to hold, which would be around 3k pips. So yeah, something to consider if you guys are swing traders. Could be a nice setup for you guys. Moving on to the weekly time frame, again we have this zone as our PO. I'm not going to mark it as it's really risky. It might give some reaction, so when as we move to the lower time frames and we see the candles, we can decide on that, right? But then again, my selling POI would be, I found one right here on the weekly time frame, a very strong candle, a very strong structure point right here, which if the market traces back to it, I'll be looking for sells in this zone. Coming on to the daily time frame, again nothing very special. We might I'm gonna mark this zone. Let's see right here. I take the 50% of this wick. I'm gonna suggest my lows right here, and 50% of this wick is marked it, and I might expect some reaction from this. Oh, we already have a reaction from this. Wow, okay, so this wick already has been used up. We already had like a, let's say, 185 pip move, so it's unlikely we might see another reaction from this wick. uh, so yeah, this range can still be considered. You might find some sort of buying positions, but I would recommend, even if you're taking those buys in the lower time frame, do not hold them for the long term. They are pretty weak. So yeah, my main trade idea would be expecting market to go below this, grab this liquidity, so use this zone as liquidity, come below this, give us some sort of a smaller sector shift, and then yeah, move on. So I might look for sales from this zone short term and then continue back up, and so on. Yeah, in the coming weeks, as we go on, we decide. So yeah, let's move on to the 4 hours, and if we see something on the 4 hours again, at this 50% area, so I might put this. NZD is actually moving really, really weirdly, not really, staying along with Euro USD or GBP So it's a little bit diverted, but again, a risky area on 4 hour, a risky POI, but I will look for buys if I get the opportunity for that. If our BITFX rules are met on the lower time frame, I will be looking for buys in this zone. And yeah, there is a potential that some things might play out if we break below this zone, and then I will look for sells in this to continue all the way down. All right, so this is my game plan for NZDUSD. So yeah, this is gonna be my POI to look for cells if we break below this area. Okay, if we don't break below this area, then I'll still be looking for cells from this area, as we have this minor break of structure right here. Okay, so this minor break of structure right here is a bit confidential. It will be more powerful once the lows are broken. If not, I'll still look for buys from this zone and sells from this zone. All right, so yeah, that's the game plan. Short term, these are the POIs. A little longer term, let's go into the daily. These are the POIs, this right here and this right here. Alright. And obviously monthly as well. These are the POIs for monthly for NZD Alright guys, lastly we're gonna go our USD CAD, and as explained in the previous video that USD CAD still bullish. We were expecting this POI to give us some reaction. So again, at this POI area, we might see good reaction towards the downside. So again, we might push a bit higher on USD CAD in this week or maybe even the next week, but we should be able to see some sort of reaction. I believe so, and yeah. So this is a monthly time frame, and I'm hoping that uh, we should see some reaction. I'm gonna extend my POI towards this right here, and then again I'm gonna go to the 50% of this existing wick right here. I'm gonna take the 50% of that to give me more accurate areas. All right, so you guys can have these markers right here with me. So 1.40566 is an important zone, and again let's do this. 1.43637 is an important zone. All right, so yes, these are the important monthly zones which you should keep an eye for, and USD CAD should give you some sort of reaction from this area for sure. Coming on to the weekly, again same zones on the weekly. If the market decides to pull back, I'll have my POI as this candle right here. All right, this candle right here, as I see there is this strong candle right here which has been mitigated. So the only candle which looks all right to me is this right here. So pull back to this zone right here would be nice, and then push back up again. Daily time frame, same thing. Nothing much to see on the daily. 4 hours, if we go a bit lower, we have broken above the high. So what could possibly happen is we might be able to secure some buying position right here. All right, so again broke above this high, bullish order flow, coming back, retesting the zone, and then first target should be this 1.40566. Second target should be 1.43637. Yeah, so yeah, this is something which could play out. Again, wait for your low time frame confirmations. Don't hurry. Don't rush into a trade with no confirmations. Don't have FOMO. Keep the risk management in place, and trade safe. Let's see on 1 hours if we have something in mind. Looks like pretty much the same thing, right? And obviously, as you can see, we have broken above this area. So yeah, so this structure point is valid structure point, and yeah, we should see some reaction from here as well. All right, yeah, that's it for the USD CAD, I believe. All right guys, that's it for the this week's outlook. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you guys enjoyed it, and if you guys are looking for mentorship and taking trading seriously, you guys can go visit our website bitfxcoachables.com.